Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to this evening's program. You're listening to Radio Mac, broadcasting on 107.1 FM from the heart of Bradford, and I'm your host Asif Sabah in the studio. And today we're going to continue our conversation about Muraqabah, or meditation. We give thanks and praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to come into your homes to bring you these messages of hope, happiness, peace, love and well-being, and that we may remind you of the favours that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on you. This program is dedicated to exploring the spiritual and the symbolic language of the Quran. The Quran that I use is the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation from Arabic to English. And if what I quote does not match up exactly with the version of the Quran that you have, it may be that you have got a different edition. So today we're going to continue with our conversation about meditation or Muraqabah to give you an idea and understanding for you to start to look within yourself for all the answers to the questions that you have about whatever is going on in your life. As you know, the angels are closer to you than your jugular vein. So if you actually think about that, heaven is right here, right now. In a sense, it's walking with you, but most people are so focused on the external world, they actually forget to look within themselves for answers to external questions. Because everything starts according to whatever is going on within ourselves. You know, those ideas that we have accepted as the truth? Well, they become our foundation stones on which we build our entire life. And the thoughts that we accept as the truth, they create our reality. Because as we look out at the external world, we use that information that we've accepted as the truth to understand what is taking place. And so, isn't it best to look within yourself for answers to your own inner questions? And that is the question that you got to ask yourself. You know, where is the best place to look? Because everything actually starts with you. And you know, we all have our own perceptions, we all have our own likes, our own dislikes, our own belief systems, even though, you know, we can all be Muslims, but we'll have a different understanding according to whatever it is we're thinking, whatever thoughts we're manifesting within ourselves, because those thoughts will create our external reality, or will associate those thoughts to what we believe is going on in the external world. And it's this that makes the world and our reality what it is. And by changing the thoughts that you have within yourself, you can change your reality. And so this is why it's always best to look within yourself. Actually take note of what it is you actually are believing in and what it is you are focusing on, because they will build up a foundation within yourself, and as that foundation grows, it becomes whatever you decide it is going to become. And so as we look at meditation and what meditation is, you know, it is a deeper form of prayer. And that's another way of looking at meditation. Because what you do is you close your eyes, you withdraw yourself from the external things around you, like the external world, for example, and you focus on what is actually going on within yourself. And all sorts of thoughts and ideas will arise. Now, when you meditate, the more you meditate, the more you will get to know yourself on a personal level. And then you'll start to really understand your true connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you will feel it through your thoughts, your feelings, and whatever's going on within yourself. So this is why it's so important to learn about meditation, maybe practice meditation if you can get the time, and get to know yourself and your own conscious connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the best way to actually see and get an understanding of where you actually are on your pathway through this physical world. And so as you learn to grow in awareness and understanding, this will increase how you see the world, and even some of the things that you learn through your journey through this world. And so as we look at meditation and its practice, I hope that you will start to rethink some of the things that you may have previously thought about, because meditate is a strange word. It can mean different things. Like, for example, it can also mean reflect. Reflect within yourself. Look to your own soul for the answers, because as you know, the angels are closer to you than your jugular vein, and so they know what you are thinking. They understand, they see what you are thinking, and when you reach out to them through prayer and reach out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will bring the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into your life. That wisdom that you need to hear, that wisdom that you need to help you grow and develop on your pathway. And so as you practice meditation or a deeper form of prayer, then this will reveal to you exactly what is within your own self, because you planted it there. Whatever you accepted as the truth becomes planted within the garden of your own soul. And that is where you need to look for answers to the questions that you have regarding your life in this world. Because that's where all your questions start from. That place that exists within yourself. And meditation is a practice that is not restricted to any particular religion or culture. Muslims too have a long-standing tradition of meditation that has been practiced by those searching for a deeper meaning in their lives. And even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would seclude himself away from everybody. And it was through meditation that he achieved spiritual purification and enlightenment. And as you know, it was in the cave of Hira. This is a place where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would seclude himself away from everybody so that he could spend time on his own, so that he could reflect on, life in general, whatever was going on in that society at that time. And reflect on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's through this inner reflection, a deeper state or deeper form of prayer, that he made these spiritual connections. And what we're going to do is we'll look at some points regarding meditation and how it can benefit you and improve your life in general. But before we do that, I do want to look at a verse from the Quran, and it's Surah 38, verse 29. And just think about this verse for a moment. And it says this, and this is from the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran. For short, it's just called Yusuf Ali, the Glorious Quran in some versions. It depends on the cover of the Quran, but it can have various, titles. But I take all my information from the translated version of the Yusuf Ali translation from Arabic to English. So Surah 38, verse 29 says, "Here is a book which we have sent down unto thee, full of blessings, that they may meditate on its signs, and that men of understanding may receive admonition." So the Quran uses the word meditation, which is a practice of seeking within yourself, going beyond this material world and looking for that inner sacred place, that inner sacred mosque, that place that exists within you, beyond the everyday thoughts that we think about what we believe is taking place before us. But Allah knows best. But we want to go out there and we want to get involved and we want to muggle things up with our thinking. But sometimes it's just best to step back, take a pause, and reflect within ourselves before running around in the world, trying to put everything right according to our own perception of what we believe right and wrong is. And so when you think about this verse, it says, here is a book which we have sent down unto thee, meaning the Quran. But also, what about that book within yourself? What about that amazing book that evolves or reveals itself to you as you're living your daily life? Because think about it. Your life is a book. You have made a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every day of your life is like a new page opening. Every year of your life. So let's take your birthday, for example. You could use that as a marker. And that's like a new chapter in your life. So every day is like a new page turning. So you have a book within yourself, and it is unfolding as your life unfolds. Just like the Quran is a book that's sent down from heaven, and it is full of blessings. And those who meditate on the signs within the book, that you may receive admonition for your meditations and receive revelations. But before you start to receive divine revelations, you'll have to unravel some of the ideas and thoughts that you've accepted as the truth, but maybe only partial truths. And so you have to work through yourself. Work through all your defense mechanisms that you've built up over the year to get to that inner sacred place, that place that is within you. And it's not an easy task, but you have to work on yourself. You have to strive. You have to be patient. You have to peel back the layers of everything that is only a partial truth to get to the full truth. And then as you begin to develop yourself and open your heart in love, you'll go beyond the need to experience that's on the surface of your thoughts, because you've consciously moved beyond such thoughts. It's like when you're sat there and you're listening to somebody talk, and they're not really talking about something that you're interested in. For example, they may be talking about this, that, or the other, whatever it is they're talking about. Now, maybe it's because you have moved beyond that conversation or that type of conversation, and you are dwelling within a different state of conscious awareness that doesn't need the fulfillment of that particular conversation. And so in this way you can see that you have moved beyond the need to become involved in such a conversation, because your consciousness is dwelling somewhere else. And it's the same thing for those people who are engaged in a particular consciousness or conversation. Then that might be fine for them. But if they were to look deeper and leave that conversation where it is, then they too would move beyond that kind of particular conversation. And it would open up a new awareness that they've most probably never experienced before. So can you see how it works? These conversations that we have, there's a saying, like attracts like, which is in the Quran. It's taken from a verse. I can't remember which verse, but like attracts like. So those people who enjoy particular kinds of conversations, they will be attracted to those conversations, whereas others will be attracted to different conversations. And so again, that's where the Quran comes into it, where like is joined with like. And that understanding of like is joined with like covers so many variations. You can't just apply it to one particular thing, because even in the hereafter, souls will be joined together, like with like. And even in this world, you are attracted to those people who share the same hobbies, maybe. So you are drawn together. And so this idea of meditation, it takes you beyond the everyday conversations that many people indulge in. And maybe you don't need those conversations because consciously you have moved beyond the need to talk about certain things. And this is the beauty of meditation, or muraqabah. You end up moving into a different conscious state of awareness, where the things that were at one time necessary in your life have now become unnecessary. And you don't need such conversations, or you may find certain conversations are quite boring to you, and so you need to be stimulated by something different. Meditation allows you to enter into a different state of consciousness. But before you get there, you will have to pass through the conscious retreats, or the consciousnesses, or the thoughts that you've accepted as the truth, to get to the deeper levels and connections that can be made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And meditation allows you to do this. It allows you to push yourself beyond the retreats that many reside within. And we will be eased out of those places that we call our home. And I'm talking about home as in the conscious retreats that you reside within. Because you have another kind of home. The home where your consciousness is at. And indeed, another verse from the Quran that springs to mind when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how He watches how you move around in your home. Well, what is your home? Your body is the house of your soul. So how your consciousness moves around within your mind or within yourself, between its polarity of light and darkness, well, that is you moving around in your home. So polarity, what is polarity? Polarity is where you get light at one end and darkness at the other end. And everything between are varying degrees of light and darkness. So sometimes you'll be in a good mood. Sometimes your mood won't be as good. And so this is again showing you the cycle you are making around your own polarity, your own light and darkness. And as you monitor yourself, and the easiest way is through understanding your mood swings, as you monitor yourself, you get to know yourself on a basic level. So allow yourself to look within. Allow yourself to go beyond the physical reality and get to know yourself on a personal level. And this will open your life up. It will open your understanding up. And you will get to know yourself in ways that you didn't know yourself before. But it all comes down to you. And you can push yourself beyond the everyday thoughts that you think and enter into the deeper, more reflective pools of light within yourself. They exist, but it's for you to find them for yourself and experience them for yourself. And as you do, you will grow in awareness. You will expand your consciousness in ways that you won't even be able to imagine until it happens to you. And then you'll go, wow, 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 wow. You will be so astounded by the experience. And so think about some of the amazing wisdom that you will find within the verses of the Quran. It will tell you to meditate, and it mentions it a few times in the Quran. And I'm going to read that book out just as we go into the commercial break. So I was reading Surah 38, verse 29. And it says this: Here is a book which we have sent down unto thee, full of blessings, that they may meditate on its signs, and that men of understanding may receive admonition. So let meditation take you to that special place within yourself and open your heart in love and express love. And this will open you up in such beautiful ways. And as you surrender, as you reduce the thoughts that hold you back, you will expand in awareness. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters, and welcome back. You are listening to Radio Mac, broadcasting on 107.1 FM from the heart of Bradford, and I'm your host Asif Sabah in the studio. And today we're just talking about meditation and lessons on meditation, and it is important to meditate as a part of your rituals, as a part of your prayers and additional prayers that you may want to do, because that connects you. You feel that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You become more open and more aware of that direct connection, and especially when you open your heart in love. Love is like the key to really feeling that connection and establishing that connection. And as you know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he emphasized the importance of setting intentions in all aspects of your life, including meditation. And just like when you do your namaz or salat, you will set your intentions to do your salat or namaz. And you know, the intention plays such a big part of whatever it is that you do, because it's like you're making the intention to do something. And at least there's a saying, your heart is in the right place. You know, you are setting your intentions to do something, even if you don't end up doing it the way you mentally perceive you want to do it. At least you've set the intention to make an effort. And it's this that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also makes a note of and watches. How you move around in your house is so important. And setting your intention is just as important. And at least you're trying, you're taking that first step. And as you know, you take one step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will take 10 steps towards you. And so set your intentions. Think about your intentions. Make your intentions. And do your best to follow through with that you intend to do. But do it with love. And he taught, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that the intention behind every action is just as important as the action itself. And that is so amazing. And that is where you set your intention, and then Allah will provide you with a means. At least you've thought about something. At least you've thought about whatever it is that you want to do, so deeply enough that you can wake up and say, right, I am going to do this because it is good for my soul or good for those around me. So set your intentions. And when it comes to meditation, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that one should have a clear intention of seeking closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and purifying oneself from negative emotions, negative thoughts, harmful emotions. This is where we must strive. And it is difficult. You know, it's not easy. And so if you are trying your best know that you're not alone in your struggles. There are many people that are doing their best. They are working on themselves. They are trying to get rid of the harmful thoughts because they know themselves. They know within themselves that those harmful thoughts are doing more damage to their soul than, well, what can I say? Those thoughts are doing so much damage to their soul, and they know it. And so they work on themselves, and they think about things, and they work at setting intentions. For example, every new year people set these intentions. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to get rid of this, I'm going to get rid of that, I'm going to better myself here, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to try my best. These are all small little intentions or positive self-talk that we give to ourselves. But at least we're recognizing that within us we are going to strive to be the best version of ourselves. Instead of this being that's filled with these negative emotions, these harmful thoughts, because it just destroys our own self. That's all we're doing. We're destroying our own selves. And so this is why setting those intentions and having clear intentions, you are able to focus on and use that energy of the intention to achieve a deeper connection with yourself, even with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as you set your intention during meditation, you are setting your intention to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the process behind it. You're setting your intention to meditate. Meditation takes you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you've got two intentions there in one. One is a process to achieving something other. So think about those things and try your best. Try to make that connection. Try to open your heart in love, trust and truth, and be there. And set those intentions and let them take you forward on your journey through this world. Because it isn't an easy journey. Every single person in this world, or 99.9% of them, will have some kind of problem that's giving them some kind of issue in their mind, created by so many different variations of situations that are taking place in life in general. Every person will have something going on that they don't want going on, and they are working on. And that's why we're all here. We're all here, we're all processing information, we're all trying our best to do what's right, in one way or another. And so, set your intentions to be the best version of yourself. And that will truly help you on your journey through this world. And strive to be the best version of yourself that you can. And so, let your intention drive you forward. Even if you don't act on your intention, at least you're recognizing and you have something to work on. And as you learn to follow through, as you become stronger, you will follow through on your intention, and that will just increase your ability in whatever it is you're doing. And then it's like setting your intention. It might be just a small thought at first. You wake up and say, right, I'm going to do this today. And you set your intention. Now there is just a small thought. But then as you get involved in that intention, you become filled with everything that is going on. You're living that intention. That intention becomes your reality because you are living it. And that is so important because you become filled by that intention and it kind of takes over. And you make a connection between whatever it is you've intended to do and the act. And this is the same connection that you can make with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you intend to meditate. So when you meditate, you go beyond the everyday thoughts that you think and you form a deeper connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And think of meditation just as being like a special prayer. A prayer that takes you on a deeper level of communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now also something else that you may not have thought about before, but the power of breath control, breathing, is also a part of it. Because if you're breathing erratically, and you're all over the place like you've just run 100 yards, or you're having a game of five-a-side and you can't run anymore and your breathing's all over the place, and your pulse is going at 100 miles an hour, your heart's going at 100 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to focus on anything else but your heart and your pulse and your breathing. That's all erratic because of maybe some exercise that you've done. Well, learning to control your breath also helps with meditation and being in the moment. Because if your breathing is, what's the word now? Smooth, let's say, then you're going to be able to relax better. So it's also worth knowing that the importance of breathing is so important in your life because it allows you to relax. It allows you to enter into that moment and be at one with yourself because you're not trying to slow down. Well, you're not racing, like if you've had a five-a-side football game or you've run for the bus or something, imagine your breathing is all erratic and you're all over the place, you're all flustered by the beating of your heart and your pulse and everything beating. But when you relax and your breathing is nice and smooth and relaxed as well, you enter into a different state of conscious awareness. So breathing, as a part of your prayers, as a part of your namaz, as a part of your salat, as a part of your meditation, it's all part of making that connection. Because if you're all flustered and all over the place, you can't make that real connection because you're too busy with all the thoughts that are associated to becoming flustered and erratic. So just as your body and your heart and your pulse and everything is erratic, so too your thoughts become erratic and they are all over the place and you can't think. But if you're just sat in a chair, just relaxed, and you take a few deep breaths and just think of the word surrender. Think of the word what does Islam mean to me? And as you think of surrendering yourself, well, breathing, it helps to put you in a neutral, or it helps to put your mind in a neutral gear. You stop racing within your mind because you enter into a relaxed state of mind. And having a relaxed state of mind is so good for your prayers, because you're not flustered. Your thinking is not erratic. It's not all over the place, but it is calm and collect. You are in a state of oneness with yourself. And then when you take that oneness within yourself and close your eyes, you take that oneness and connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you experience that oneness of yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. It's like a divine connection that you make between yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this helps you to grow and develop, because you will feel a divine connection. Because imagine you're all over the place. You know yourself just from most probably your own experiences. If you try to do your namaz or salat or just pray in general, and your mind is racing, you don't get that connection. So by learning to breathe will help you to slow down your mind. It puts you in a neutral gear, or your mind enters into a neutral state where you're not going forward, you're not going backwards, but you're just sat there idling along, like in a neutral gear. And when you are in that state of mind, when you close your eyes, you can automatically make that divine connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's much more better for you. So the importance of learning to breathe deeply as a means of calming the mind and connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so important. And by learning to control your breath, you can slow down those racing thoughts that often present or prevent you from achieving a more meditative state of mind. And in Islam, there is a tradition of breathing exercise which involves zikr. And this also applies to inhaling and exhaling while repeating the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this exercise, it has an effective way of calming your mind. And as you calm your mind, you make that beautiful connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So breathing plays such an important part in how you connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Learn to slow down and relax, and use your breathing to achieve this. And as you do, you will begin to feel a beautiful connection taking place. And it's through that connection that you move closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I want to, let's have a look. I was just looking to see when we have a next advert again. But I wanted to read another verse from the Quran. And it's Surah 34, verse 46. So it says this: Say, I do admonish you on one point, that ye do stand up before God. It may be in pairs, or it may be singularly, and reflect within yourselves. Your companion is not possessed. He is no less than a warner to you in the face of a terrible penalty. And so again, what does that verse tell you? The main points I want to bring out is it's telling you, reflect within yourself. What is meditation but a deeper form of inner reflection that allows you to look at who you are becoming? It allows you to look at yourself from a different perspective, from a different position. And it allows you to get to know yourself, but it also allows you to establish an amazing connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So go within yourself. Feel that divine connection taking place. And get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a personal level. Focus yourself. Use your breathing to put your mind in a neutral gear, so that you're not racing forward or backwards or sideways, going into first, second, third, fourth, fifth or sixth, which however many gears, some cars have more than others. But allow yourself to sit in neutral gear. Allow your mind to be in neutral. And when you get to that part of allowing yourself to be neutral within yourself, you will enter a space of silence, because you have slowed down your thoughts. You have slowed down them racing, going forward, running ahead of you, or going backwards into the past. You don't want to be in the past. You don't want to be in the future, but you want to learn to be in the here and in the now. And as you learn to be in the here and now, that is when you learn to really feel that connection. So learn to be silent, because the benefits of learning to be silent and to stop your thoughts racing is breathing. And silence is an essential component of meditation. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he recognized this. He recognized the value of being able to sit in silence. And this is one of the reasons why he took himself off to sit in seclusion in the cave of Hira. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that silence is not just the absence of sound, but an inner state of inner peace that can only be achieved through learning to still your mind. And as you learn to still your mind, you will truly begin to feel different. And so allow yourself to meditate. Or the Islamic term for meditation is Muraqabah. It is a part of Islam. It is a part of your duty to learn to connect yourself and recognize that meditation is but a deeper form of prayer. But it takes you on a beautiful journey into the depths of who you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters, and welcome back. You're listening to Radio Mac, broadcasting on 107.1 FM from the heart of Bradford, and I'm your host Asif Sabah. We're in the studio, and today we're talking about the importance of meditation or Muraqabah, which is the Islamic term, and how it helps you to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a much more powerful way. And you learn to slow down your breathing, and you go beyond the everyday thoughts that you think and enter into a certain kind of silence. And silence is an important part, and it is recognized as a valuable thing, because even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would seclude himself away in the cave of Hira to meditate, to focus on the more spiritual aspects of life. Anyway, just before the break, I was just discussing, or just before the nasheed I put on, I was just explaining that if you have a verse from the Quran that you would like me to do a talk about, maybe it will help you. If I can give you an explanation, and go visit my website at www.asifsabahmindfulness.com. There you can send me an email, and I'll have a look at the email, and I'll do a talk on it, and I hope inshallah that it helps to unravel maybe a mystery about the verse, and it'll give me something as well, because I come here, I do these talks, and I don't know what people want, to be honest. I just come in and sit down and talk to this microphone and hope that people are enjoying it or taking something away from what I talk about. And so the importance of silence is not just the absence of sound, but it is a state. It creates an inner state of peace. And sometimes to get to where you want to be, you need to find that peace within yourself. And by practicing silence, you learn to detach yourself from all the noise and distractions that are going around, or all around you. And this is of such beneficial to it's so beneficial to you if you can find that silence and enter into that silence. So something else is just as important, and that is posture. Now, posture is another crucial element of meditation. And it's important that you should sit comfortably and in a stable posture while meditating. Or even when you're doing your namaz, if you're slouched on, say, a seat or settee or somewhere, you're not, going to sleep is different from meditation. Going to sleep, you totally disappear from this world, as it were. You're not conscious of this world. Where meditation is slightly different, where you are aware of your surroundings, but you've detached yourself from those surroundings, and you are more relaxed. You're aware of your thoughts, and this allows you to look within yourself and be aware of the thoughts that you are thinking. And so posture is important. You don't want to be too relaxed so that you fall asleep, but you don't want to be too uncomfortable that you can't really think. And posture will allow you to have optimal breathing. So you optimize your breath and your breathing to help you. And this helps prevent distractions from interfering with your meditation practice, or even when you do your namaz. If you are not focused on what you are doing, then your distractions are all over the place, and you won't know where you are. You'll forget what you're saying. So again, there is so much more to the practice of being in the moment than what you may have thought about. And also, one other thing that is so important as a part of your daily meditation, or just life in general, and that is gratitude. Gratitude is a central theme in Islamic teachings. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized the importance of gratitude. He taught that one should begin and end each day with gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this practice not only helps to cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude within yourself, but it also serves as a reminder of the purpose of your namaz, salat, your meditation, and your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seeking spiritual purification within yourself. Because it reminds you that you are human. It also reminds you of your darkness and your light. So there'll be times when you may think to yourself, I can't be bothered, or, why am I doing this? But then when you bring in gratitude for the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, it shifts your perception from one of negative emotions or harmful thoughts to a bit more positive, because you start to look at the gift of life that you have. And even the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has supplied you with in your life. He's given you so much. And as you learn to be grateful for the things that you have, you move away from the harmful thoughts that try to hold you back. And these thoughts will try their best to hold you back and stop you from reaching out and finding this inner place within yourself. So seek, and you will find that which you need to help you on your journey. Everything you have will be provided for you. If not materially, consciously. And that's what you also have to look at. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you everything you need. He gives you the things that you need consciously. Now, if you're running around comparing yourself to what other people have, then that isn't being grateful for the things that you have. So as you learn to approach gratitude and practice gratitude in your life, it leaves your mind open to receiving the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you begin to be grateful not only for the things that are sent to you or the things you have, but the things that come into your mind as a part of that gratitude. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you material things, but He will also give you what you need spiritually. And that will come through your conscious awareness. So you have so much to be grateful for. And what blocks you from being grateful is when you start to look at what Allah has given to other people. And then you start to want those things for yourself. So you stop being grateful, and this puts a block in the acceptance of gratitude in your life, because you've stopped being grateful. And so what happens is that smothers the door within your consciousness through which Allah's gratitude towards you reaches you consciously. And as you consciously ascend, or as you open yourself up to gratitude, you will begin to consciously ascend up to the heavens. It opens you up in such a beautiful way that you will feel so much better. You will feel content. You will feel happy. You will feel grateful for the gift of life, even the gift of existence. Don't forget, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could blot any of us out just like that. But you are existing. You are alive. You are unique. And that is something in itself to be grateful for. So allow yourself to accept gratitude. Allow yourself to grow in gratitude. And be happy for the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And that will open the door to a consciousness through which you will be satisfied. And Allah will send you something consciously to help you on your journey. So be grateful for everything that you have, and show Allah by taking time out of your life and allowing gratefulness to enter.